Me. La la la. My beautiful mic check. My beautiful voice. I can't decide if I need to pee or not. Hey Google, do I need to pee?
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that. I'm learning more every day.
Thanks, Google. Whoa. Good job I did go pee, because that sneeze would have made me pee whether I wanted to or not. Someone sent me money already. Why are you sending me money? I haven't turned on my camera. I know what we're doing. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Oh, it's my glasses on. A good sound for glasses, right? Let's get positioned. I'm now positioned. Let's lower the volume of the music. That will lower it. Perfect. I think I'm at a good volume. I'm gonna lower the gain on my microphone later tonight, so it's a little bit less crackly. Hey Google, set volume to 80%. So I've just put one of the Google Home Assistant things in my house, and typically I'm actually quite against anything that's an invasion of privacy. I don't. Maybe I'm not. I don't care really. I've sort of like, as I got older, I've cared less and less about it. But I thought that I might ask it a couple of things. Hey Google, and see. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. What is Star Citizen?
According to Wikipedia, Star Citizen is an upcoming multiplayer space trading and combat simulator developed and published by Cloud Imperium Games for Microsoft Windows. Development of the game began in 2011, led by director Chris Roberts, and has been mostly financed from a large private crowdfunding campaign of over $250 million United States dollars.
Hey Google, who's the best Star Citizen content creator?
You'll find the answer every time you look in the mirror.
I'd not programmed that. I'd not programmed that. But hopefully you heard that it's confirmed by my digital assistant that I am the best content creator for Star Citizen, full stop. That's the end of it. And Star Citizen's... Is Star Citizen the best game? Sorry. Hey Google, is Star Citizen the best game?
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help.
Oh.
I'm still learning.
Well, it is. Just so you know, it is. Hey Google, set volume to 50%. Yeah. So when that runs out to be, it stops being a novelty, maybe I'll stop doing it. I hope everyone is doing well. So a lot of people are obviously experiencing the sort of more shut-in life at the moment. Kevafar 1138. So let me address you first because you sent me money, and that is something to be encouraged. and congratulated. Thank you. You're the best. You see what Kev did? He sent me money. That's what we should be all doing. No. Hello, BG. Just wanted to say, glad CIG is working on VR for Star Citizen. We'll come to that in a second, because I know I won't really get to flick switches and walk among the stars, but I can fool myself. So, CIG are seriously going to be looking at VR for Star Citizen and Squadron 42, and I would expect it to be in-game at some point several years in the future, at least for Squadron 42. They've talked about a few times, they wanted VR integration and all this sort of stuff, and
Wait to talk about those stock sales.
oh, yeah, we can talk about some of the stocks and stuff as well. Chris, Ikenlab, Chris Ikenlab, obviously a German name, well, assumedly a German name. I can't say your name because I am ridiculous. Can't wait to talk about those stock sales. We will happily talk about the funding of Star Citizen stuff. I assumed that was going to be a hot topic. That's probably why I chose my title. I always forget the title of Star Citizen stuff that I do as I'm putting out. I just put, especially for the streams, it's just sort of like, you know, I'll pick a topic, blah, 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 blah. I mean, next time probably I'll just go blah, 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 3.9. And we'll talk, but basically, we'll talk about anything that people want to talk about. Question in brackets, we'll talk about Star Citizen, we'll talk about particular topics, I'll try and answer questions, or at least move on to the topics people are interested in. Yeah. So, later on today, probably, and during the week, as many times as we can, in the evenings, I'll probably be streaming other games, because we're getting Zin's settings correct and all that sort of stuff for when we stream, when we record, and all that sort of stuff. Zin is going to be my full-time editor. I was planning to get her at the end of June. Actually, end of June last year, but planning to get her at the end of June this year. Then loads of stuff happened, and obviously it's a mixture of a little bit worried about finances because we don't know where the economy's going, but I mean, I'll be adaptable. But she's going to be like, has no work to do at her work, and her work might have to lay people off. And I was like, well, take you on a bit earlier, or whatever, potentially. That seems sensible, and there's less risk for me then, of if something happens, I can go, it's not working out, we're not making any money, or it's gone terrible, or you're not appropriate for this, or whatever. And I feel less guilty because, you know, that she wasn't getting work anyway at her work. Obviously there's risks and stuff like that. I think it's a great idea for the channel, and I really want to do it. And she will be pretty new to Star Citizen. So there's that as well. And I hope that she can add a bit more character and flavour to the channel. And yeah, so I've been talking about that for a little while, if you've been keeping up with my videos. But we play loads of games in the evening together as a group anyway. And I just wanted to get some more of that on the go, and then a bit more of an understanding. And then you know who she is, and you can help direct her. Because I want to start getting a bit of a community together that plays games together and has some servers together. Like I want a Rust server. I want to do regular Unreal Tournament nights and retro nights. I want to do things where I'm giving away prizes for people that survive on the Rust server at the end of the month, and go, you get a Star Citizenship, bam, something like that. So I want to get a bit more community together, and she's going to be managing the community a lot better than I would, because all I do is research Star Citizen, read some stuff, fiddle around with editing and recording, and then occasionally do streams. But I just want to do more, about twice the amount, hence why I need another person. Question, with the new weapon customization system, will it take you a while to get your bearings? I hate you. I hate you. It's a solid pun. It's a solid pun, the sleep, and I respect you for that. But all donations at the moment, and all like super chats and stuff, I plan to go into purchasing Zin a new graphics card, which I'll grab her at the end of like next week or something. Whether or not I've got enough donations for it, she needs one. And oh, so that's the thing. While she's sort of like doing, so for the month of April, she's sort of like got very little work to do, if any, for her work, but she's still getting like half wages or something, so she can't really move on to another job or anything. But she can learn the ropes of whatever the hell she'll be doing for me, which still needs to be exactly worked out, because even I'm a bit confused with it. Thank you very much, Alfred, for subbing. Love your face, board. I hope you're staying healthy. I think so. I mean, so isolation stuff. Well, we'll come on to that in a second. Yeah, so she's going to be learning some of the ropes and hopefully getting involved in some streaming and videos and that sort of stuff. Sort of like a little bit half-assed next month, and we'll take it from there. But it's going to be community driven, the channel, a lot more so than normal, than has previously been. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get a much better content and quality content out there. I'm hoping that 3.9 is stable. We are still waiting for 3.9. How annoying is that? Like, I was hoping for a first wave PTU over a week ago, and we're still EVOCATI 3.9. That is saddening to me because I want to make some content on 3.9. And it's obviously I do patch notes and I do some stuff that is just parroting what CIG talk about and say, but I want to do some gameplay. I want to do more. Right. So, what was I saying? Alfred, I'm staying healthy. I'm staying healthy. I'm staying fine. The whole isolation quarantine stuff for people is much easier for me than most other people because I hate leaving the house normally anyway. I'm reclusive in that sense, but I socialise hugely online, and all of my work can be done from home. And I've got loads of Titans for 40k, Adaptus Titanicus to paint. Got another three or four of those bad boys to paint, and a Warlord Titan. That's a Reaver Titan. I've got to magnetise them, and I'm putting little tiny pieces of masking tape on little model bits so I can paint hazard lines or little bumblebee lines. But I'll show all that once it's all finished, or maybe I'll chuck up my social media every so often. Because I noticed a load of the devs in the UK, and probably across the world, for Star Citizen play 40k and that sort of game. And maybe I want to get some games and stuff together. Maybe I'll try and get some devs involved in playing some board games and things like that as well. I know a few devs, and I do play games with people like Cameron regularly, who I love and who's one of my best mates, admittedly. But yeah, have you heard of the folding at home? I can send you the link for it. Yes, I've got a team for it, Alfred. I posted it on my social media a lot. I talked about it in one video. I should probably put a link to folding at home in my videos, to be honest. So folding at home, for people that don't know, is basically Bitcoin mining, but instead of Bitcoin mining, you're sort of using your GPU and CPU to better the medical knowledge for different diseases. And obviously they are pushing for things at the moment that are COVID-19 related. So it's a really cool thing. Check it out, folding at home, and it's legit. But I think they've got like 4 times the power of a supercomputer at the moment because so many people are doing it. Obviously, so many people are at home and more involved with their computer. Say something in German, Board. Ich habe einen Bruder. Mein Name ist Board Gamer. J'aime la discothèque. Yeah, I can do GCSE German and French. Perfect, done. So, there's some topics that I'll probably want to cover today to some degree. Lack of 3.9, going to first wave. So obviously with the EVOCATI, obviously there have been some delays with CIG, a lot of their staff working from home, and sensibly so, they're working from home because of the global crisis at the moment. I suppose it's not really a crisis, it's a crisis to at least some extent. But CIG are very lucky in the fact that as a business they can work from home pretty easily and it not disrupt the actual efficiency of their working too much beyond the initial disruption of, well, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks sort of thing where they were getting people's computers to their houses, and some people are obviously going to be ill and that sort of stuff. So expect some minor short-term delays, and if later in October or getting towards October we're still in a bit of a lockdown, then obviously Citizencon might have to move or change in what it does and might have to be online only. But CIG don't have an excuse really for that much in the way of delays or slow development, is what I'm saying, because they are actually set up for this sort of stuff. So, and one of the other things, so yeah, we'll talk about that a bit more if people want to. I've got a lot of friends that are CIG devs, and I've been talking to them to quite a good level and getting to understand what's going on. I mean, some of them are actually properly isolating because someone in their household is sick, so they have to all lock down. and things like that, which is sort of like terrifying and oddly funny at the same time when you talk to them regularly. You're like, oh, what's it like when they toilet paper? And I was like, no, actually, we don't have any, which is weird. And it's like, I thought it was more of a meme. I was like, no, it's not just a meme. It's also a thing when you have shared toilet paper around the house. People forget to buy it. One person would typically buy it, and that person can't get hold of it. No one buys it, and they run out. So there's things like that. But other stuff I want to talk. Well, we can talk about. We know that the Crytek lawsuit's now over, but people want to talk about that. That's cool. I'm sure people are like, wow, CIG were left with $1 million bill. Yeah, they were. They had to pay for their own legal fees. But even if they had pursued it further, it would probably go to $2.5 million or something like that in fees. And then they pursue that from Crytek and maybe only get $500,000 back or something like that. It's like, well, 1 million loss and it's just all dealt with. Not an awful idea. Did Crytek do wrong in suing them? I think so, but that's just my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. Yeah, but it's done and dealt with now. Other things we can talk about as well. I saw a few articles come up. CIG are making loads of money and it must stop, one of them said. I was like, oh, that is just a troll article or just a very, very biased article. And then the other one's going, Star Citizen is funding even more money. There's a Kotaku article from Australia Kotaku. Star Citizen has now raised over, let's bring this up on the screen. Star Citizen has now raised over 550 million. This is Australian dollars, so whatever the hell that is. But I looked at a couple of these articles and went, that's actually incorrect. So go back to chat. And the reason that's incorrect is because the funding charts that they're using for these show that Star Citizen has made 275 million from funding, which is true. But they don't add on subscription money and other income. So other income is stuff that's incentives and sort of brand deals and any other money that they generate that's not Star Citizen directly ship related, I suppose. Ship or microtransaction related. So maybe Intel gave them money, maybe they get a deal from AMD for putting AMD cards or something in game, or Intel for drives or whatever. There might be other things. Probably tax incentives as well. So. And then subscriptions, literally the RSI subscriptions, they're not added on. Plus the $46 million investment from the coders and a new investment of 17.25 million. I think it's 17.25 million. Let's have a fucking look. Cloud Imperium. I literally looked through all these financials yesterday in a huge amount of detail. And now I can't remember exactly what it was. Yeah, it's 17.25. So let's bring this up on the screen. So CIG having got another external investment of 17.25 million, in addition to the huge amount of money they've been making recently. So CIG, very much so recently, have been able to make a lot of money just from their standard sales practices. Like, especially since last year, they've been making more money month on month than the previous months and previous year. And at December time, that just skyrocketed. That's just started going out of control. Like, people are making, they're getting a load of money. Yeah, it just went, it's breaking its record year on year. And now they're also getting additional investment money. So what is this additional investment money about? Well, the Colders and associated investors and firms that they own, I believe, the Calder family stuff, they were given, when they negotiated their original agreement, the option to buy in, or one-time buy-in, it appears anyway, from my understanding of this, a certain amount of shares up to a certain amount at a later date at the price that they were originally quoted for the original shares. And they've chose to exercise that. So they've gone, we want to buy some more, if we can. I think that is how it's gone down. And feel free to, if you know different, tell me in the chat. I don't believe it's a case of Chris going, can you give us some more money? I actually think it's the Colders going, we're exercising our right to purchase more shares because, well, investment-wise, computer games and entertainment might actually be a really sensible option compared to other investment opportunities at the moment. And there was the end of that Crytek lawsuit. That's my take on it anyway. And you're more than welcome to have a different one. You'd be like, no, it's Chris clearly asking for money. The IG haven't done a ship sale, and they've been making a huge amount of money, more and more and more. And I think we're getting close to where we're going to start to see Squadron 42 sort of like advertising campaign for a released product. And yeah, Squadron 42, optimistically, I'd hope to see it Q1 2021 or Q2. And I hope they do make that. I was holding out on hope that we'd get it this year, but even if it was planned sort of like secretly for this year, I think with the global situation currently, I think that would be very optimistic to think about, especially if they wanted to do an advertising campaign at places like E3 or those sort of games conference stuff places that probably aren't happening this year. Or maybe we'll get some stuff online. I mean, CIG can run their own advertising. They're pretty good with it. The problem is that very few people actually cover Star Citizen. Occasionally you get a big YouTuber covering it going, actually, this is pretty cool. Occasionally you get some people going, wow, finances stuff, but they were selling land claims. Oh, that's anti-consumer. Actually, it probably is, but you should probably be checking out Star Citizen much more often than occasionally going, ah! I know I do. I have a mixture of, ah! But I know you'll fix it sort of reaction. I love Star Citizen. I love the community. I love the project. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. So they've now got 63.25 million from the Colders and associated groups. I assume it's all the Calder company and their group of things that they own. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. And then if you put all the money that they've made together, without removing refunds, which I expected, looking at similar digital purchases, to be up to 0.6% of all purchases. That's like sort of like unoptimistically, if you see what I mean. So I'd be saying, if everyone's getting refunds that would want to get a refund, it's 0.6% of sales. It's close to $400 million that they've generated in funds. Yeah, so we can talk about all that. I'll go through some of the questions and have a look, see what people are saying. It's fun. Do that. But I'm very much looking forward to 3.9 and Theatres of War when it comes out, hopefully quite soon. Because that's something that me and Sin can play. But later this evening, me and Sin will be playing things like Apex Legends and Borderlands 3 and stuff like that. Board, love your face. Thank you very much. I appreciate the face love. Looking at the new attachment UI, I hope there will be a local inventory that if you have a box with attachments in your ship, do you think you'll be able to equip it individually onto our person first? What? I'm a little bit confused by that. You will be able to get a gun, and you'll be able to mod it, and eventually you'll be able to put those guns into a crate. Or put mods into a crate, take them out and put them on a gun. Or take a gun out of a crate and put mods on it, and put it back into a crate of an appropriate size or a gun rack. That is the eventual plans. Do you think the Ares will come with the Idris mission? No. Even though I might have selected a picture that has the Idris K, I think, and the Ares. I think that Ares might get worked on this year, and we could even see it at the end of the year if it's a focus for CIG, but I wouldn't expect it. Oh, Canuck! Hey, wanted to share the news. I took delivery of my Constellation Phoenix Emerald from this year's Limerick contest. Congratulations! Feel free to share your Limerick as long as it's not rude. Although I don't think you could have won it if it was rude. Yeah, so I would advise people that want to get involved in Star Citizen at this stage, and they want to play them Persistent Universe rather than Squadron 42, and it's only appropriate as a game to play if you want to give feedback, if you want to get involved with sort of like being a volunteer QA, your sort of like opinions and feedback and bug finding matters, and if you want to like look around the game every 3 months as a tourist destination. It is an alpha. It is not ready for primetime play. It's not a sit down and play for a few weeks game or anything like that. It has no full storyline. has no storyline really at the moment. There's some poorly chained together quests and stuff. It's all sort of like it's mechanics without the content yet. But it's very cool and it looks very beautiful and it's very interesting and the community for it's pretty awesome. And you can get some very good orgs within that community that will suit your needs. So yeah, $45 is all you need to get in to the game, and that's all I would recommend. Unless you've got like larger disposable income and you want to buy like an Adventure Titan, which is like $20 more. But you can get one of those in game pretty quick and easily anyway. So just a Mustang Alpha, $45, bam. I heard the grind is real tedious though. So the grind in Star Citizen is pretty basic. There's not much to do at the moment, and that's the issue. And they were wiping, doing proper full-on wipes of people's accounts with every major patch. Now that's not so much of an issue now that we've got long-term persistence in game. They don't need to wipe stuff as often or all the time like they were. So bear that in mind. It was a problem certainly. Not so much of a problem now. There's still going to be wipes and stuff, but you don't want to be playing Star Citizen at this stage to grind. Like, you want to jump in, have a look around, borrow someone else's ships, join an org, that sort of stuff. It's if you're like, well, I want to sit down and play a game and progress, Star Citizen is not for you at this stage. You can certainly argue about what makes a Star Citizen release. But it really needs to be feature complete, which is not content complete, but feature complete before a release, and then they need to build content completion after that, which is going to take a long time. And then even beyond that, they're going to add more features and more content for hopefully 10, 15, maybe more years. 10 years is good. 10 years after a release of a game is a good lifespan, but I would like, because of the amount of development time into Star Citizen, I would like it to be 15. Week 2 of lockdown. I can't stop watching Lewis Rossman videos. Oh. Bits for the Bit God. People are still trying to judge a game based on dollars spent. How about judging the game on it actually being something not being done by any other developer? So the thing is that people are trying to judge something. It's like trying to judge an unfinished painting. They're going, well, Star Citizen's got all this money. And they haven't even finished their painting. And their painting's shit. And it's going to be shit. Like, oh, okay. That's a bit, Do you see what I mean? See my analogy there? Or metaphor? Whatever the hell it was. Simile? Like. I said it was like. It's probably a simile. Yeah, so that I suppose is an issue. Is that people critique stuff all too readily nowadays without balancing their critique. You don't need to balance critique. You can say, I think this. Cool. That's fine. But going Star Citizen is going to be crap is a little harsh. Elfwin42 gifted a sub to an old brownie. Thank you very much. And congratulations for getting a free sub. Maybe. I rented a mining prospector, its scanner a resource detector, so I split my first rock and it caused quite a shock. Lucky me, I had shields to protect her. I'm bad at reading rhymes. But congratulations on winning a Phoenix Emerald. I rented a mining prospector, its scanner a resource... Okay, let's see if I can say it. I'm not sure if I can, because I'm actually bad at that sort of rhythm. Like, you look at me and you go, this guy's got fucking rhythm. I know you do. And now you're like, this guy is... but I actually have problems with rhythm. It's odd, isn't it? I rented a mining prospector, its scanner a resource detector, so I split my first rock, and it caused quite a shock. Lucky me, I had shields to protect her. Close enough? Good enough? I like it, though. Yeah, games do break new ground frequently, and that's why I play on lots of games. Really like Doom Eternal, completed that. I didn't really like the end of the game or the Marauders. One of the enemies in the game sort of like breaks the action. They're going, well, now you have to actually fight this in a technical fashion. in a way that if you ignore it, it kills you almost immediately. Or well, it's just an annoying enemy, and it's sort of like it's not the Doom fun action cycling which I really enjoyed. It's like, oh, I don't want to be fighting these enemies. I compared that, and that was okay. Enjoyed it. Borderlands 3 came out on Steam, and so I typically don't play stuff on the Epic Store much. Although I'm not overly against it, I'm sort of like, my friends, some of them are sort of like so anti Epic Store, I just go, okay, I'll wait until it comes out, and we can all play it. So we've been playing Borderlands 3 a good amount. That's good fun. What else have we been playing? Oh, Half-Life Alyx was superb game. Superb. 9.5 out of 10. Right. Let's have a look-see look. Tune is trademarked by CIG. We will. I need to get some merch and t-shirts and stuff done for sure. Do you think they may sneak in the Ares Ion Inferno with the Idris? No, I do not. With the survival mechanics coming in as a game changer, literally, could you share any thoughts on if they will take away from the gameplay because you have to stop and eat? So, okay, you're not gonna have to eat or drink very often, at least at the moment, and they'll balance that so it's not annoying. Okay, mark my words. I would expect to have to eat and drink every 4 to 8 hours in game. That's the sort of like idea, and you'd probably be doing that in real life. It will break up the idea is that you go on missions, you do a load of tasks, you do a load of fighting or whatever, and then there's some downtime where you're planning what you're doing, planning where to go, traveling to that place. It's something to do while you're traveling to a place to encourage social interactions, to encourage moving around your ship, to make you feel like you're in a living, breathing universe. It is to add to the game and not take away from it. It is not heavy survival mechanics. It is light survival mechanics for social purposes, in my opinion. Yes, there is a game element to it where you need to have food with you, but you'll be able to get food out while you're in the verse. You'll be able to go, well, I'll just harvest a load of these fucking weird tubers. Oh, yum, yum. Not that kind of tuber. But yeah, do you see what I mean? Is your sister hot? Or you're carbon dating something? Your what? My sister? I don't have a sister. What's going on? Huh? I say they should allocate some government funds to push 3.9 out. I think companies in the UK get quite good tax rebates for operating in the UK. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Timothy Moulton. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. You star. A lot of people chuck money at me, and I'm not really sure why, but I do appreciate it. Oh, it's maybe because I've set a goal for a new graphics card. For anything that doesn't get added properly to this, like super chats and stuff don't get added properly to the system for some reason, I will add them later. I'll do it with bits as well. Will you be able to store food in cargo? Also, been enjoying your content. So, in 3.9, no. In the future, yes. So the idea is that you'll have places to store food on ships, like kitchens and cupboards and that sort of stuff. You'll be able to store food on your character, and you'll be able to store food in cargo containers in the future, I believe is the plan. It is the plan, but stuff changes regularly with Star Citizen, so. Is it likely that it will be a surprise ship for 3.9? I expect so, yes. So they've teased that there's something going on with an Origin ship. And they said this Origin ship, it looks like it might be exploration-based or scanning-based or something like that. Or survey-based or something like that. And I would expect to see a new ship straight to flyable slash and or vehicle in 3.9 anyway. So probably something from Origin. If not, still probably something new in 3.9 straight to flyable. So someone said earlier they're glad that CIG are working on VR for Star Citizen. So CIG want to get VR in the game. They're working on Vulkan integration and their 12th gen renderer stuff. Expect them to look at and build the game with VR in mind. But it's going to be many years before we have VR in game. It's possible we could also see a large Origin or capital ship or something like that, and that they'll go, actually, we've got something for 3.9 that is straight to flyable, and we have this, it might be a little bit later, but and we have this Origin concept as well. But CIG do seem to be moving more towards straight to flyable ships rather than concepts. I am excited to do the Idris mission in 3.9. Want to do some videos on it. I want to do it a few times. I want to get it for B-roll. There's lots of cool stuff for 3.9. Prisons, Idris, loads of the prison break stuff, food, environment stuff, updates to mining. Yeah, we're still in EVOCATI phase of 3.9. But it could literally be any hour it could go to first wave. It's literally going to be when it is stable, when the main blockers are sorted, bam, it will go to first wave PTU. But yeah, we are expecting, obviously the planned release for a live build of 3.9 was today. But obviously that's not going to be the case because there's been delays because of CIG working from home and stuff. But I wouldn't expect more than like 2 weeks delay. Hey Google, do you like Star Trek or Star Wars better?
Millennium Falcon, flown by Captain Jean-Luc.
Oh. The Millennium Falcon flown by Jean-Luc Picard. Why not? Jag, you told me to stop shilling. Without this shill life, what am I? You tell me. I'm nothing without the shill. Yes, I use an Elgato pop-up green screen. Has anyone from the CIG studio got extremely ill or passed on from the virus? Not that I believe, but hopefully everyone I know and everyone else will be safe and lucky. Like my hopes, prayers, dreams, and love are going out for anyone that's going through difficult times at the moment. Yeah. Super Mac Brothers suspects that the Ares Starfighter may come in 3.9.x. Would you agree? I do not agree. He might know something I don't. I don't think... I think it's possible we could see the Ares for 4.2, but I still think that's unlikely. What else have we got? What ship would you recommend to someone focused on dogfighting and combat? Also, happy late birthday. Gladius is pretty cool. I mean, it changes from patch to patch, and obviously there's issues with shield holes and stuff. At the moment, Pledges, what the hell are they called? Not railguns. Not ballistic repeaters. Mass drivers. Mass drivers are broken at the moment. So guns that you can put loads of auto-gimbaled mass drivers on. They need to fix shield holes though. I mean, I like the Saber, I like the Super Hornet, I like the Gladius, and I like the Arrow. Obviously the Arrow did get a nerf as well though, so... sort of, I'd go out of your way to rent all those ships and in game and see which ones you like. Has anything been mentioned by CIG about making cockpits more interactable? Yes, there has. They're making stuff more clicky and switchy. We've got to that they're improving the cockpit experience and cockpit interactivity, and they're even looking at ways of building that into the inner thought system and that sort of stuff as well. So it's basically going to be 3 ways of interacting with a cockpit: hotkeys, physically clicking the buttons. I say physically interacting and flicking the buttons, or like HOTAS and physical controls. Or all of them. Some of them. Is there a pay-to-win aspect? At the moment, you can't deny that there's a pay-to-win aspect in Star Citizen, except there's nothing to win at the moment. It's sort of like just a test. You can buy spaceships if you want before you get into the game. And then you have that ship. That is effectively pay-to-win. But it shouldn't be seen like that. It's not that sort of thing. It's not a 1v1 dogfighting sim. So bear that in mind. You might as well just get it in game. Everything's available in game. I've been out of the loop when will 3.9 release. So 3.9 is in the hands of the EVOCATI at the moment. We'll go to first wave PTU anytime. I say anytime. As soon as the major blockers have been fixed that are causing instability or whatever, as soon as they get to like a certain stability level and major frustrating bugs have been removed, and they then release it to first wave PTU, which expands the test group to EVOCATI, which is about, I think, 2,000 members now. And subscribers and concierge, who are people that have spent at least $1,000 the game as concierge, and then that will go out to open PTU pretty soon after that. And then after that, it goes into a live build. I would expect about 2 weeks before 3.9 is live. Do you think Star Citizen will ever do a IPO? Intellectual property? What? What is IPO? CIG wants more money. It always wants more money. It's a capitalist little business. But it is making lots of more money. Quite constantly. Oh, the Prowler, but how useful will it be until the main feature stealth is in-game more extensively? Exactly. And ship boarding in properly and that sort of stuff. So at the moment, when you shoot a ship, it explodes when it dies. But you want to be able to disable them, and you need physicalized components for that, and a few more systems to come into play really to do it properly. And obviously you want base assaults and things like that. So you need lots more in the game to make the Prowler viable and interesting as a ship. Board often criticizes CIG. Yeah, I mean, I talk about it constantly and sometimes I vent my opinions on that. Typically, I cover the news of what CIG have put out in a positive manner. Still new to the game. What's the deal with lifetime insurance? I've been watching now for a long time, and lifetime insurance seems to be something that's highly desired when available. Yes, because it's something that isn't always available. It's sort of artificial scarcity. Lifetime insurance, people don't know exactly what it's going to do yet, because it's not had a 100% firm statement on, because we don't have proper insurance in game yet. There's going to be a full-on insurance system. The expectation with lifetime insurance is that it's actually quite a minor perk, and it will cover the hull, the basic hull of the ship, to a certain extent. But most of the insurance costs are going to come from you wanting to insure customized parts of ships, such as weapons and systems that you put on, which could be significantly more valuable than the actual ship's hull itself, and obviously customizations to the paint jobs and that sort of stuff. That will cost you insurance money. There's times associated with rebuilding your ship and things like that as well. Have they added black holes yet? No, they have not added black holes yet, but black holes are in the star map, so they should exist in game. think my criticism's carefully censored? It's only carefully censored in the fact that I don't want the YouTube algorithm to get annoyed at me for overly swearing and stuff. You know, I censor myself in the management of my day-to-day life, but not for CIG or for Star Citizen. I'll say what I damn please about that game. I say please. I'll say what I think, and I'm able to analyse. I'm very critical of certain things. I think they're very stupid with certain things, like with the Starkid and content creator promotion, where they did the referrals. That was a ridiculous idea. Selling land claims is a ridiculous idea. They have done stuff wrong. 100% they've done stuff wrong. They've been inefficient and they've been mismanaged in the past. But I do love the project. I love the game. I love most of the devs I've met. All the devs I've met, actually. To varying levels, at least. Yeah, I think Star Citizen's a great project. Really interesting. You can't just use buzzwords like simping and apply them to anything. I want simping at CIG. Stop. What? You don't even know what that means. You don't know what that means. No art is ever finished. Only the artist is satisfied with their piece. Only the artist is satisfied with their piece. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I like that definition. But yeah, when you're building something and people are criticizing it as you're putting paint on the canvas still, like, fuck off. But CIG's development is a double-edged sword. It's an interesting project. It allows them to fundraise and make more money and do it without a publisher. But it does lead to a hugely long development cycle and feature bloat, or feature creep, or whatever you want to call it, and inefficiency of the stuff. It's an interesting thing. I am really interested to see where it goes, for sure. Patrick Burke! I am in the this is never coming out camp. We were told this can't run on consoles, when I'm pretty sure we are near a time when consoles will run this no problem, given how much time has passed. Yeah, I think we'll see. It was at that stage. Star Citizen wouldn't run on consoles. I think that if consoles were powerful enough, Star Citizen, or at least Squadron 42, would be ported over to console in the future. I think that's a definite possibility. And why would they rule anything out? At the time when they were sort of like talking about Star Citizen, they wanted to do stuff that was not viable or sensible to do on console. And they didn't want to have to, go, we have to think about a console port while building the game. They want it to be played at 4K with super high graphics. That's like the optimum way to play. Obviously, it's going to be scalable, obviously. But they don't want to make a sloppy port for it. And I think Star Citizen almost certainly will come out. I mean, I can't say for sure because there could be some sort of nuclear war. But I'm pretty... the progress is slow, but I'm happy that they are making progress. And seeing some of the stuff that I've seen and been privy to in studio tours, and some of the stuff I know from talking to some of the devs, which I'm not allowed to share, I'm pretty happy with the progress and some of the results, what they're going for. It's Squadron 42. Star Citizen. It's going to be so. It's a long burn project. I mean, they're still taking a long time to do it. So I've got no doubt beyond like something terrible happening in the universe, like a sun flare blowing up the Earth. Other than that, I've got no doubt that Star Citizen is going to release, and it's going to be at least a good game. There's going to be some mechanics I dislike. There's going to be some I love, and is it going to hit everyone's expectations and highs? Well, I think it'll hit some of them, but certainly not all of them. I mean, but people sort of like people will use the expectation thing massively against Star Citizen that want to use it against Star Citizen. They'll be like, we can never live up to its hype. So why are people still supporting and backing it? Well, it's shit. It's gonna be shit. It's like, well, that's a little bit of an aggressive over exaggeration, but I see that a lot written in journalistic pieces. That's the sort of like main argument is it's not going to ever live up to its hype. So what's the point? I was like, really? I mean, it's going to live up to some of its hype, and even if it lives up to 50% of its hype, that's going to be an amazing game still. Did Half-Life Alyx live up to its hype? No, but I still think it's one of the best games I've ever played. Have you ever seen some of Inside Gaming's videos on Star Citizen? Yes, I have. Okay, so I don't mind inside gaming as a YouTube people's. They do very much go the sort of like line of, we're going to cover Star Citizen today, and we know we're going to get lots of hate for it, but just remember that if you're sending us hate on YouTube, then you're an idiot. Or sort of like, they sort of like attempt to troll and poke to get more views for their Star Citizen stuff, and their Star Citizen stuff is not researched enough, in my opinion, for what they say they do. That's my opinion of it. I watch all of that. I watch their stuff, and I actually quite like some of their coverage that they've done on it. But I watch them more for general gaming news. That and Bulla News. Bulla? The news thing I watch. 1 second. Is it Bulla? News. Games. I can't remember what it's called. It's not in my feed either at the moment. But I watch it. I watch loads of YouTubers do lots of news and different things. I've got a question for you that's useful for the community. Is a caterpillar worth to be bought right now, and or any balance that will come in 3.9? So 3.9 will see some economy balance and potentially some new commodities and stuff like that. So maybe, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could just get in game. If you've got spare money, if you've already got money in your account and store credit, Caterpillar is a very useful ship. I like the Caterpillar. In the future, it's going to have modularity. You can switch its modules over to have different function. So bear that in mind as well. There will be lots of uses for the Caterpillar in 3.9, but for money making. I do look at you and expect the rhythm out of the... You want rhythm out my Razoo. I also expect an amazing tap dancer, oddly, and one hell of a raspberry souffle. I'm not into that sort of... I'm doing a souffle, it's a cheese souffle. I'm actually pretty good at dancing. I don't know if anyone's actually seen me dance other than... There's a few people that see me dance while I'm drunk at Star Citizen events. But it is a sight to behold. Do you think Star Citizen can ever be played in VR fashion like in Half-Life? They want to do that. So they want to integrate VR. There's devs at Star Citizen in the UK studio that have joined literally to get VR, what they want to put VR in the game. And after they have Vulkan integration in, they can actually look at it in a bit more sort of like earnest. But it's going to be years before it's in-game, in my opinion. What if you feed your character narcotics 24/7? I think that narcotics will have side effects. So you'll have debuffs and buffs from them, obviously, short-term buffs, and the debuffs that will cause you to like need to eat and drink more, and cause you to leach health, and you'll need to get those sorted, like at the medical table. Is the PTU affecting the normal servers negatively at the moment? Feels like they're a bit unstable currently. I don't think the PTU actually has an effect on their live servers. I don't think they sort of like take down live servers for the PTU or anything. I think they are separate things, although I don't 100% know. I wouldn't expect the PTU to be affecting the normal servers. However, I would expect some things with Google Cloud or Amazon Web Services. Google Cloud? Amazon Web Services and CIG servers with the current sort of like global issues that are going on and people working from home, them to be a bit flaky over the next few days. Any word on ships that are reworking to standardize measurements so modularity is viable? No, nothing that they've said specifically they're reworking for those purposes. They're doing lots of cargo-based things for 4.1, and they're getting a lot of stuff in ship-to-ship and ship-to-station docking. And there's going to be, I suspect, a lot of standardization of ship modules and station modules and cargo after that. I'll look into it a bit. I'll put it in my notes to look into. What's what I just read? Has there been any news on the other solar system being made apart from Stanton? Yeah, so they're making the Pyro system. Pyro is meant to be out this year. It's what they showed a little tiny bit of in the video that I've got in the background. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate all the kind words and love. I appreciate it. What made you become the go-to for Star Citizen? I don't know why people watch me for Star Citizen. Probably because I was the first person to do full-time content on it, I think. I saw a hole in the community for doing a bit of what actually Noobifier is now doing, admittedly, and I started adding a little bit more fluff to my videos, but only a little bit. Someone to break down the news and talk about Star Citizen and keep you apprised of what's going on from week to week. And now I do almost daily content on Star Citizen news and that sort of stuff. And I've got a community behind me for that. I try not to overly talk about news topics, like overly fluff them. But then I do a video maybe on a specific subject that includes bits of those news pieces. And then I will just talk about like a deep dive into something. I will talk about maybe 15, 20 minutes on it rather than just 10. At least that's the idea. Well, Gamer, what ship do you think they might add to the roadmap for 4.0? Cutlass Blue? Something straight to flyable? They could update the Vandal ships in game. What else have we got? What have we got? Get my ship tracker on my website. We could get the Constellation for us. I'm hoping that we see the Redeemer at some point as well. Hull C. Hull C is very possible for 4.1, 4.2. I'd love to see the Tonk, Nova. Probably pretty easy for them to do the Ranger or the 100 series. I mean, when I look at the list of ships that still need to be done, there's not actually that many. I'll show you what I'm looking at. My website, someone else has made this, which is, I've got the original post and all that sort of stuff linked down below. But the ships in red, Mercury Squadron, of course. Mercury Squadron, and the Vulture. So I would expect Salvage and the Vulture in by 4.2 as well. That's my expectation. They really need to get some proper gameplay loops in this year. Hercules, yeah, the C2 Hercules at the very least. I think they could get the Hercules in for 4.2 by the end of this year. I mean, they're working on those Crusader ships. They're working on Crusader as a zone, and that sort of like gives branding and a lot of the style guide for Crusader ships is going to be done this year, and sort of like the pipeline really refined. And I would expect to see a lot of Crusader stuff this year. I'm hoping that Genesis Starliner comes out as well. So. The recent persistence added in-game means if you buy a ship, you keep it forever, right? So if you buy a ship with real money, you keep it for, well, until its insurance run, when the game goes live and then the insurance runs out, then you'd have to keep on the insurance with in-game money. Keep it if you lost it, if you see what I mean. But if you buy something in-game now, you might keep it between major patches. You might not. They will still sometimes wipe. But they don't have to wipe so often. Did CIG sell shares again? For what reason? Chris needed more money because of costs, deadlines, investors. We don't 100% know because Star Citizen has been making more money month on month on month, year on year on year. And the more recent financials, you can look at them, they've actually been doing incredibly well, smashing previous records by a significant amount. The 17.25 million additional money that they got from the guys that originally invested the 46 million appears to have been a one-time buy-in that the original buyers exercised. They had an option to buy more at a later date at a certain time, within a certain time, at the original price, and they chose to exercise that and buy them. So that was originally negotiated when they did the original $46 million buy-in. And that's what it appears to have been. The Prowler is a short-range ship. It's medium-range, but in my opinion, but yeah, short range, short to medium. Does this mean it will need to be transported? Okay, yeah. So it's not a ship that you'd want to be taking from system to system to system using to explore. It is supposed to have it's supposed to be like an assault ship or whatever, for boarding. Yeah, so you could either take it on like another ship or a Kraken, or you'd fly it and have it with a fleet or whatever, so it could be refueled. Or you'd have to fly it from station to station to station and then deploy it. Did you see the article from CNN? No, I didn't, Commercio. Feel free to link it to me, though, if you can, directly. I'm happy to look at that later. I'm not necessarily someone that understands everything, and I'm happy to listen to people's opinions, and I'm happy to be wrong. I don't think there's anything problem being wrong. I seek knowledge, and I don't get really embarrassed too much. So I think that's a good mixture. And I will talk my mind, and I'll say this is how I feel on this, and people can try to change my mind, and I'm quite happy for that. I'd rather understand what someone else thinks than try to tell them what I think is right. You see what I mean? You think they will add more alien factions? Yes, I do. So expect some potentially sort of like xenomorphy type things or some weird alien creatures. They want to have animals in the future, that sort of stuff. And we know that there's the Banu, the Xi'an, the Vandal, humans, Tavaran. There's also the Kerfak behind Xi'an space, which we don't know anything about really, other than they had a war with the Xi'an called the Spirit Wars. Ask Saber, were Raven codes still working? I don't believe they still work, but you can contact customer support, I think, and get them attributed to your account if it's a working code. Talking about articles, Board, how did you feel about the Forbes article? So the Forbes article they did a little while ago, this sort of like semi-hit piece, was a negative business analysis. Analysis of Chris Roberts and Star Citizen's management, looking at it going, this is a risky thing, and they're sort of like incompetent, and these are the bad things they've done. That was literally all it was intended to do as an article, and it's no more or less than that. It wasn't really about Star Citizen, so I didn't really care too much. Trust Chris's vision. They've built a studio now. Do I think it was originally mismanaged and poorly managed? And do I think he's got had previous odd personal problems with his life? Well, everyone has, and I don't care about that. The early mismanagement and stuff of Star Citizen, well, they were building a studio. There's going to be inefficiency, mismanagement, and stuff like that. Of course, there is. They got an unprecedented amount of money. They didn't think they were going to. Do I think it's a lot better now? Yes, magnitude's better. And I'm entirely in favour of how they're running the project. Well, for the most part. I mean, there's always improvements and things you can do. There's always ways you can hold them accountable, and you should. You should at least discuss it, and shouldn't be afraid to discuss it, but also you should be civil and mature about things, not go and cry about stuff that's, like, irrelevant. Like, specific things in the game at the moment, in, like, balance issues, certainly talk about and certainly say this isn't an issue that CIG should solve. But I wouldn't say I'm not playing the game anymore. Brah, getting a refund. They haven't balanced my ship in 3.9. Do you see what I mean? And that's me, though. I mean, I'm not within your refund window. Go for a refund if you want that. And exercise your rights. What's your favourite dogfighting ship? So, I mean, I've gone through phases where I loved the Sabre, and I probably will love the Sabre again once it gets a bit of balance and love. I really liked the Arrow for a while, but then it got its nerf, and I didn't like it so much. Gladius is cool. I mean, just the Super Hornet is pretty... It's got a load of guns, and you can put a lot of mass drivers on that thing. Pew, pew, pew. What do you think should be added in Star Citizen? More gameplay loops, a solid working flight model, AI. there's the huge amount that Star Citizen needs right now. I've been in good health, thank you very much. I appreciate people asking. I've been on a solid diet, much easier to keep to when I can't go out and eat delicious foods. So I'm eating porridge and jacket potatoes and just lean chicken and quinoa and like mixed rice with that, like wild rice and stuff like that with it. I'm eating pretty well, pretty healthily. It's much easier to do, as I said, at the moment. I have almond milk rather than normal milk, things like that. And I go for a half an hour run a day. I'm trying to probably update that to an hour run, but I do it on a treadmill, so I don't need to leave the house. Ares Sweater out for 3.9? I don't think so. As far as I'm aware. We could certainly see it by the end of the year, but I don't think 3.9 will have the Ares Fire. I'd love it if it did, and I might be wrong. People keep on suggesting it now. I just don't think it's the case. Any idea when we can expect the Retaliator modules? No, I would expect a light rework to the Retaliator, the same with all ships. I was hoping we'd have like the year of modularity this year, but it might now be towards the end of the year and next year. And then I would expect to see some standardization of a few things and the abilities to switch rooms and that modularity that people want. What happened to the other two that you used to discuss Star Citizen with a few years ago? So Twerk has now become Salty Mike, and Saurus is still... WTF Saurus has now become Saurus. They still do Star Citizen stuff. They're still doing good. I keep into relatively good contact with Salty Mike, Twerk. And I haven't really kept up much with Saurus, but I will. I mean, I've just sort of moved away from everyone in the Star Citizen community because I'm quite isolationist when it comes to my daily sort of churn. I do want to get involved with content creators. I want to create content with them. I want to do podcasts and stuff with them, 100%. I'm super low effort is the issue. I'd love to work with them again and do podcast stuff with them again in the future, yeah. Will we have a cargo ship with about 200 SCU? Probably, yeah. And what are the... Yeah? Living ships? I mean, they want to put a space pilot game. The Banu ships look very living. I would expect there's probably an alien race in the future that will be... aliens aboard a living ship. Why not? Why is Pathfinding Exploration not in game yet? So they're just sort of like updating and doing a load of the AI stuff now. The game's alpha, which is why they haven't got any form of polished AI beyond sort of like the AI can spawn itself and just deploys. It's because they haven't finished building exactly how the AI should interact with the world, how the procedural generation works, stuff like that. So there's a lot they need to actually get in there before building the AI to be able to work around it sensibly. I think it's because they've got it in a hierarchical sort of structure for their development. They go, well, that's actually not needed now. We'll do it when we can do it, and we only have to do it once. You should see much better AI this year in the Persistent universe. What are the limits to EMP? Can a small ship with an EMP complete disable, say a Carrack or an Idris? No, so they'll be able to partially disable some areas of them. and do distortion damage to the components. They haven't balanced EMPs properly. Some ships will be pretty resilient to EMPs. They're not just a one button take everything down in the future anyway. Do you think the turret on the Prowler will be manned or pilot controlled? Pilot controlled, I believe. Do you think after the Prior system we'll get other systems feed into us? Yes. They'll be building more systems. I actually think they're going to build their way to the Odin system, which is the system in Squadron 42, because they'll go to Pyro and then Nyx and going towards the Odin system. It makes sense. Jag, can you see a day when we can feed players to mega pets like a Rancor? And the Sandworm? Yes, why not? The Sandworm should be on Layer 3. When they have Layer 3 in the game. When do you think they will add the first alien race, and how will it affect gameplay? So Vandal are already sort of roughly in. I suppose they've been taken out of the persistent universe. They're just in Vandal Swarm. They'd just be enemies to start with. In the same way that pirates are a race, I suppose. Will the bartender be working in 3.9? There will be bartenders there. They will not be the bartender experience that they've been building, though. I know this is for 4.0, but are the points of interest around Crusader all in the lattice work surrounding the planet, or are there some planet side in Clouds? I believe there are some around Crusader, so expect like wrecks and mining sites and things like that. And missions and stuff around, so not just around the lattice work. Which dev teams work on things like making a salvage gameplay loop? They will develop a salvage gameplay team, which will be made up of a particular amount of staff from lots of different disciplines. I'm not sure if there is a salvage team currently. How much cargo space do you think the Taurus will have? About 20% more than the Constellation Andromeda. Do you like the Carrack? Do you think it lived up to its hype? So, not yet, because it needs its gameplay mechanics. I do love the Carrack, visibly and aesthetically. I think the ship is fantastic looking. I think it's a very cool ship. I want to get involved in Star Citizen and run it through a load of Star Citizen gameplay missions in multi-crew, but I need Star Citizen to be stabler for that and not have desync. 3.8 has a load of desync problems, which should be fixed in 3.9, hopefully. And then I want to play around with the Carrack a bit more. But the Carrack hasn't lived up to its hype yet because it doesn't have all its mechanics, and it needs a couple of years yet before it's going to start to live up to any form of hype. Sorry, what was this footage? This is the Citizencon 2019 gameplay footage, which I've cut down and reduxed. Bored, when you are centered in your chair, it makes you look like having giant ears, and that's funny. They got big ears, isn't it? They got big, like, I'm Radar Boy. Radar Boy! What they call me, isn't it? It's my nickname. What else have we got here? When 3.9 is out, and will it count towards the game? What? 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 3.9 was supposed to be out today live, but there's delays because of the global situation and CIG working from home. I'd expect a live build within the next 2 weeks, around 2 weeks. And a first wave PTU could come out literally any hour. But there have certainly been delays to the 3.9. Horizon on Crusader has had a lot of work done, but Crusader is just scheduled. Any thoughts why that is? Because they're building Horizon, and I think they've got probably most of Crusader already sort of like planned and done. It's just, gas cloud, and then they put in the procedural generated points of interest and missions and link that up. Do you know if New Babbage will have the same annoying restricted areas as Area 18? So they are doing, at the same time, for 3.9, they are doing a restricted area rework. So that should be less intrusive, and you should be able to get much more involved with looking around the city while flying over it. Can you in the future get the Caterpillar in-game? Yes. You'll be able to get everything in-game in the future, and you'll be able to stick on your account as well at some point. I have Polaris that I want to use as a main fleet ship. Do you think the Polaris is worth it? No, I don't think it's worth its cost in real money, but then I don't think anything over $100 is worth its cost in real money. You can get it in-game. Some people obviously have different liquidities and disposable incomes. So if you've got like $750 spare to buy a Polaris, and you want to buy a Polaris, and you've got nothing else to spend it on, and you don't want to invest it, and you don't want to buy a computer or anything with it, or parts, then do that. By all means. Why not? Or do you think there will be clan play with orgs in the game? Yes. Like org buildings and shared resources and orgs. Yeah, shared ships, org bases, org hangars. Yeah, lots of stuff like that. That's one of the things that they look like they're working towards. And they basically said the expected functionality of orgs and working with an org and as an org will be available eventually in game. They want to have that sort of stuff. They want that social play, and orgs is a giant pillar of the game. The Caterpillar is available in game at the moment. Yeah, you can purchase it in game. I'm pretty sure. Should I subscribe to your channel? You're more than welcome to, Red. What else have we got? Don't feel that you need to. If you don't want updates on Star Citizen, then don't. What do you think about adding more rest stops on the way to Microtech? Okay. Yeah, so I think there needs to be some tweaks with rest stops and their positioning, for sure. Do you think Citizencon will be in-game this year? I do think there will be an in-game event for Citizencon. Whether or not Citizencon has to be done online and in-game is another story. Hopefully, the current situation will be at least partly resolved, and they'll be able to run a successful event. But it's possible that we might not be able to, or that, because people aren't going to be able to leave their houses, or there's not going to be confidence in traveling and that sort of stuff. So just bear that in mind. CIG will make do with whatever they can. Population cap increase when? So there is various tech they're putting in the game this year. They've experimented with larger server player caps as well. They need to get server-side object container streaming in more in a better state. There's a client-to-actor server. There's a code rework for the network code, and they're building towards full persistence, the item cache, iCache, and server meshing. Server meshing probably not this year. Great if it would be. If it was, we might probably. If we get Citizencon this year, which we should in some form, we'll probably see like an example of server meshing in the game. But this is all working towards getting the pop cap increase. So you might see larger population cap this year if we're lucky, without server meshing, because as they sort of like make the servers more efficient towards 4.1, 4.2. But it's going to be based on what they think is appropriate. What's the best way of making money in Star Citizen right now? It depends what ship you have. If you've got a Caterpillar, then trade's great. You can mine stuff if you've got a prospector. You can run bounty missions, which are pretty easy. If you've got a combat ship. Underwater cave bases when? I would actually expect them to put some, because they're going to have swimming in the game. I would expect them to have water added to caves. You've got little areas where there are water and you like swim under and things, and then start to have more and more stuff that's potentially slightly explorable on the coastline. I don't think that deep water exploration to a meaningful degree is going to be in game anytime soon. Is the new Friends Party building still up in 3.9? They've got updates to the... Well, they're planning to put updates to some of the systems in for 3.9, but there's a lot more planned for 4.0 and later. How many systems do you think they are working on are completed already? I don't think... I haven't even completed the Stanton system. I think they're probably nearing or they've probably completed the Odin system for their needs for Squadron 42. Yeah, I'd expect them to complete the needs for Squadron 42. But they obviously, for the persistent universe, need a bit more. They can rapidly generate procedure-generated systems now if they wanted to. But a lot of them, they're still building some new biomes out. They're getting the gas cloud tech with Crusader in. There's a bit more they want to do, and then they can actually quite rapidly build out some systems, especially the more simple ones or the ones without like giant cities on like Terra. And then the only real major things they need to do is new architecture, landing zones, and that sort of stuff. I don't really get the roadmap block performance optimization. Doesn't that depend on your computer? So performance optimization for them is making sure that the patch is optimized sort of like to a certain stability and performance level across the board. The new article on Discord, thank you. Did you? Oh. Yeah, I did see this article. This is not a good article. So this article says $300 million Star Citizens development hell must be stopped. I mean, it's just a... Star Citizens have just secured another 17.5 million. It's 17.25. Someone needs to tell Star Citizen to stop. What? Do they? What? It's just a article that is written to be semi-inflammatory to get... It's an opinion piece article. And it's now actually added, the opinions here expressed do not necessarily reflect the views of CNN.com. CCN, in fact, .com. Yeah, it's just a venti hit piece. It's just opinion based. Okay, the guy's entitled to his opinion. I do not share it. I talked about it at the very beginning of the stream. What have we got here? What do we got? What do we got? Hey, Board, how do you feel about lava, volcanoes, etc. being added to Pyro? Yeah, I'd expect to see maybe some of that on some of the planets. We'll probably see lava on some of the planets for sure, and other environmental hazards. Adding environmental hazards is something I'm interested in. With a bit of corrosive pools and stuff as well. Or do you know if they will add horror aspect to the game like haunted ships or xenomorphs? They've talked about wanting to do like xenomorph encounters and interesting encounters like that. Something spooky. When will we see ship-to-ship to station docking? Hulk C is ready for Squadron 42. So they've planned to get ship-to-ship and ship-to-station docking in for 4.1. They're rolling it into the docking feature for 4.1, all of that sort of stuff. Hopefully, we would see the Hull C in 4.1 or 4.2 because of that. But they do have to do other stuff for the Hull C as well. The main thing after that is to get its morphing physics grid. So they can spindle and despindle. Hey, Board, what do you think is a realistic date for Squadron 42 or the PU? The PU, years away for a live release. Squadron 42, you could see, I mean, not overly optimistically, sort of like a moderate release date, Q2 2021 for Squadron 42. How long do you think an average prison sentence will last in real time? Well, unfortunately, I can't really answer that because I've been in the EVOCATI and I've actually seen it. I would expect that prison gameplay will shut people down for not a overly invasive amount of time when balanced properly, but enough to get them out of the game for a little while and having to not want to go to prison, but not having to be like despairing because they're in prison and rage quit. I mean, they're going to have to buy, effectively, merits off other people if they needed to get out. It could be quite reasonably expensive. You're not going to want to get caught. You're not going to want to go to prison. If you go to prison, it won't be the end of the world. it'll be interesting still. Does Chris Roberts have a big red 30k button on his desk? Yeah, with one of those little bird things hacking in it. If you answered this and I missed it, do you think the parallel will go up in price when 3.9 comes out? Yes. I think that was also be a sale. Do you think them integrating Vulkan API will increase performance than DirectX 11? I don't know what you mean by that exactly, sorry. So the plan with Vulkan API stuff is what they will eventually go fully to Vulkan API. So they're in the short term, you're going to see Vulkan and DirectX 11 support. And then after that, they'll go all the way to Vulkan. And it'll just be Vulkan support. And Vulkan will be significantly more performance efficient and allow them to do a lot more and look a lot better and all that sort of jazz. I have a Mercury star runner, and I was wondering what kind of data do you think it will be gathering? Will it be more like cargo data or like sent transmissions, locations? I think you're about to get a mixture of stuff. I think you're about to download data as part of missions and black boxes and things like that. I think you're about to potentially intercept data as missions. I think you're about to buy data as cargo and move between places. Going back to the system question, do you think it's worrying it's taken them so long to build one system and finally get another one out later this year? Not necessarily. So Star Citizen's development is slow and it's long. It's a long, slow process. And they've been building tools for the systems. They said, look, we're going to take a long time to build the standard system. We're going to build all the tools for it. And the reason we've chosen it is because we want to get all of those systems and the ability to build procedural systems done right and with as many biomes and elements as possible before building out the other systems much more rapidly. That's always sort of like been the plan, as far as I'm aware anyway. That's not concerning, that's part of the plan, but it is slow. There's no denying that it's slow. Why no exploration pathfinder? I've already talked about that. Ecopec. Hinky Pinky. Hinky Pink. What exactly is a merit? So when you're in prison in Star Citizen, you get merits. So you have to pay off a merit debt based on your crimes. You need 2,000 merits, and this will take approximately 2 hours of you being logged in to get this. Thank you very much, Raging Sage, for the sub. Very much appreciated. This will take 2 hours of you being logged on. Now, one of the other ways you can get merits is by going under the Clash of Prison and mining, and then bringing back what you've mined, depositing it, and you'll get merits based on the minables that you've deposited. So you can work to also burn off your merits. And then you'll be able to be released once you get enough merits. Or you can stay there if you want. Will we be able to pilot the Idris after infiltrating? Or will it be like the 8 to 90 jump mission? At the very least in 3.9, it will be like the 890 jump mission. Well, even less than that. The internals of the Idris probably will not be in the NPC Idris that we'll be fighting in 3.9. When we got telemetry tools, they promised soon we will get a server health tool. Can we see how soon a server will tank and 30k? So at the moment, all you've got on the telemetry page is seeing the sort of like stability confidence of something, a stability score based on how often people are disconnecting ungracefully and servers crashing. Beyond that, I don't know. What do you think the future of the ship's damage model will be? The ship damage models, so the physical ship's damage stuff is going to have physicalized components on ships, and then physical damage system having projectiles travel through ships, hulls, all that sort of stuff, and hit potentially multiple components, but they hit what they hit, and it's based on what the projectile is, what the hull's made of, what armor you've got, what the component's doing, and the connected area nearby. So you can shoot a hull repeatedly, a ship, and it might actually just pass through, not actually damaging anything at all. But it's a much more interesting system than having artificial health pools for ships like we currently have. Hope everyone is doing right. I will be right back in 1 second. I need to quickly bio. Yeah. Oh. Hi, Picked Warrior. That is some very ease. Will there be jump points to non-system interstellar space? We don't know. There should be other jump points that are discoverable that may lead to other areas. I would expect to see some interesting things and probably some sort of like more pockety, raidy places in the future. There'll be a load of gameplay like that CIG build into the game eventually. Will there be... Oh, no. I suspect there will be lots of different characters at Wally's Bar. Do you think they'll continuously add star systems in the future until it feels like a vast galaxy? Or at least a star cluster in a galaxy? No, I think we'll see between 100 and 120 star systems that they've currently got planned over the next, 5-6 years sort of thing. Probably even longer than that. Do you think the pilot will be able to control any weapons on the Mercury Star Runner? Yes. Yes. Do you think the status of the iCache is based on the monthly reports? I think we should see some updates to the iCache in this week's monthly report. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the monthly report later this week. Yeah, Star Citizen has funded almost $400 million now in total. If you if you count the other income and investments and the amount of money they've generated from ship sales and digital purchases as well, it's a lot of money. But obviously they've built a studio with that, and they're building 2 games with that, and there's a lot going on with that, and they're doing it over a very long period of time. So. You play No Man's Sky? I have played No Man's Sky, and I did a big shining review of No Man's Sky when it got one of its big updates. I was like, actually, they could have just run off with the money and gone lol. But Sean Murray put his head down, worked on his game, made it better, started to make it towards what it was supposed to be like. And they actually started to release a better and better product. Haven't played much of it recently. I haven't probably played it for about 6 months or so. Maybe a bit longer than 9 months. Will the Persistent Universe only have 75-ish systems? Yeah, so they've got 120 sort of star systems planned. And I wouldn't expect... So like for the release of the game, I'd expect like maybe 30 or 40 systems, optimistically. And then add more and more and more. You might see an occasional sort of like secret or mission-based system or something that's procedurally generated that will collapse or whatever. It's supposed to be not billions of procedurally generated systems. It's supposed to be high-quality systems, procedurally assisted. All sort of planned for and catered for. What about rumours of the Ares, Inferno, and Ion on 3.9? I don't think the Ion and Inferno will be ready properly for 3.9. However, I could be wrong. I might be wrong. Just checking to make sure there's nothing. I'm looking forward to the Idris mission in 3.9. That's one of the things I'm most looking forward to. Very excited for that. A lot of people seem to think that the Iron and Ares is coming out for 3.9. I don't think it is. I have been wrong before. Often. It'll be a good laugh anyway, as we are able to play it. Thank you very much, Jay Bird. Yes, I am in a significant delay, but not that much of a delay at the moment. Will we see aliens in the game? Yes. There's the Vandal, there's the Xi'an, there's the Kurthak, there's the Tavaran, there's the Banu. What's your best guess at when the Star Runner will come out? I don't have to guess that much. Because it's planned for 4.1. Mercury Star Runner. Darren Lambourne. Absolutely fantastic tune. Is it Shoulders to Giants, this one? The Void Stares Back is this one. Great music. When they do ship-to-ship docking, how do you think they will connect the small docking ring on Freelancers to other ships with the larger one? I'm not sure if all docking ports will be fully compatible. And maybe they just open near each other. Force field? Air shield? Best ship weapons in the game at the moment are... not ballistic repeaters. Why do you keep on calling them ballistic repeaters? Sledges. Not sledges, but sledges are good. The other ones. Oh my god, why can't I remember what they're called? Mass drivers. Mass drivers, in my opinion, are the best at the moment, at least for PvP. And will Theatres of War come out during 3.9? I expect that we'll at least have it in our hands to some degree during the 3.9 cycle, yes. Do you think the Origin teaser is simply an M50 update? No. It's got to be more than that. When do you think the Endeavour will be flyable? Not for a long time. A couple of years, at least. Will data running involve a Polar Express of data from system to the system? I mean, you might get some data missions which are different and odd, but data can just be moved as cargo potentially. With the gravity manipulation tool coming, would you expect tractor beams on ships to be implemented simultaneously? No, not simultaneously. You'll get it cargo moving with the gravity module on the multi-tool first, sort of like tractor beams a bit later. They've had internal stuff for tractor beam tests, but it's a while off. Any mention if they're going to put the whole series in 4.1 with docking? No, but it's a possibility. If they've got the morphing physics grid stuff for it done, then yes. So 4.1, 4.2. You say it's not great for your the Twitch audience here. Unipuzzy0. I've never seen you before. If that is your real name, I'm sure it's not. But I'm taking questions from everywhere simultaneously. What is the latest word from CIG about agent smithing and joining your friends on missions when the game is released? So, as far as we're aware, the agent smithing thing isn't going to be a thing. Like taking over an NPC. I hope they change that. So they haven't. They keep changing their mind and then sort of sidestepping. Will a prisoner be able to mug another prisoner to steal his or her ore? I believe so. And I believe that there will be missions for you to take out problem inmates while in prison and to gain merits. If you get detected while doing it, I suppose, mugging someone, then you have extra stuff put into your sentence. And there's gun turrets and stuff that are automated in there as well. Yeah, there's a few tools that I use for doing loadouts and doing trade routes and stuff. There's a few of them. If you go on my website, boardgamer.co.uk, and then the resources section there, there's a load of them. Yes, I do have a monitor for my Twitch and YouTube chat. Will you be taking part in Operation Pitchfork? Yeah, of course. It'll be one of the it was the first major planned event for the game, and I'm very much looking forward to Operation Pitchfork. Obviously, it needs to be a bit of refinement gone into it. Once we know more about how we're going to be able to do it. Do you think they will or should add docking stations on outposts for ship-to-ship docking? Some outposts and stations are going to be suitable for it. Some are going to have landing pads. I suspect most stations will have ship-to-ship docking abilities. I think that's one of the things the cargo decks for. I think cargo decks will also have this sort of like thing at the same time that allows ship-to-ship docking, ship-to-station docking in that case. Do you have any idea when 3.9 will be out by? I would expect it within the next couple of weeks, just because of the sort of like minor delays they've had. Endeavour won't be flyable for a long time. Bear that in mind. Caterpillar bed nerf making me mad still. Why is bed metric stayed changed? They said, but Cutlass black beds still small double rack. They'll change and balance some stuff like that. Like, I suspect they will want to make people happy. They'll want the Caterpillar to be able to have beds in it for all of its crew if you put in the correct module. So that's what I'm expecting, that you have a module that will allow for a load of that stuff. In the future, you can have a huge amount of crew in there if you want it. And an armory and things like that. Will there be mobs to fight like in traditional MMOs? Yes. There's going to be pirates that you can just go and fight, and you can sort of do that now. But there will also be NPCs and pirates and stuff hanging around the verse in general, not mission related. Do you think players will enjoy prison system in the long term, or it will just become more of a hindrance or annoyance? It's supposed to sort of be both. It's supposed to be gameplay that was semi-enjoyable, that makes you not want to go to prison unless you've got a mission to do in prison. Because sometimes you might want to do that, go there for gameplay purposes. But it's something to also do while you are taken out of the main game at large. But you'll be able to just spend a load of money to buy merits off someone else in the future if you wanted to. How does the character fly? Is it some that worthy of a military ship, or is it horrible to fly? It's okay. It needs a load of balance still. The character's just not finished yet. It hasn't got all of its core mechanics or anything like that. I mean, that's true of almost every ship in the game. It's an alright ship. It's cool. A bit heavier than I'd like. In the roadmap roundup, there is mention of ship-to-station docking. In this tag, there is a mention of buying cargo equipment. Any thoughts on what that equipment might be? Different size cargo containers, stuff like that, potentially. Maybe it's fees to get stuff loaded and unloaded quicker or slower or whatever. The idea of cargo decks is that there's going to be fees and time associated with the landing and cargo moving between places. And they have been wanting to put in different types of cargo container and stuff as well. So maybe you can buy cargo containers that are better for transporting Quantanium or that sort of stuff. Look at FTL tunneling flight with the Crytek. When the tunnels split up, does taking a different path change where you end up? Taking a wrong turn, you could end up with the voids of space. We don't 100% know what's going to happen with the sort of like quantum tunnels, jump tunnels, quantum jump points. Yet, I suspect that you can just get damaged if you go the wrong routes or touch the sides or whatever. They've talked about them potentially being knocked out and coming out of space in an odd area, but that would effectively be death if you come out billions of miles away from anything. So, I don't think they want to do that. Are you concerned about the effect so many people already buying up all the ships they want could have on the game's economy, and how people actually play the game once we get to release? Dylan, so no, there's going to be a huge amount of NPCs which also have these ships as well, so 9 or 10 NPCs to every one player, and there's going to be inequality with that. There just needs to be a correct amount of driving the economy and people and manpower needs to be the most important thing over what ships you have. So that will then have people wanting to crew larger ships together and stuff like that. And that's my take on it. Hagshack5, you still haven't put your PO box on your website board. 14th Star Brewing Company, Valor Ale, waiting for a delivery mission. Love your face. Oh, Hagshack. Drop me a email at contact@boardgamer.co.uk and I will drop you my PO box, which I thought was on my website, but maybe it's not. And I'll drop you an address you can send me something to if my PO box should still be working. I haven't checked it out for ages. What if it's full of stuff? That won't be full of stuff. No one would have sent me things. Thank you very much, Hagshack. Oh, a load of money as well. Appreciate it. Heard anything about the Redeemer reconcepting? Can you poke Disco Lando and make him maybe show the new concept on Inside Star Citizen? So we've got a 3-week break from Inside Star Citizen at the moment. The Redeemer, we believe it's still going to be Idris. And it's more of a gunship than anything else. More of the gunning gunship. That's right. Don't worry about it. My thing automatically deleted it. Or maybe I deleted it. I clicked on something. I can't remember what I was saying. But yeah, Redeemer. I would expect to see the Redeemer this year. Even if it's just in its reconcepting. Right. I'm going to dash off in a minute because I want to eat some din-dins. Some dinner. Or linner. Lunch and dinner. It's dinner. And I'm probably going to be streaming later tonight some Borderlands 3 or some Apex or something. Just to get Zin's settings set up more appropriately. And mine as well, because there's lots of other settings I want to get done for things. Mate, I appreciate that it made you pay, Hagshack. You start. It's a great system. It forces you to pay to talk to me. No, thank you so much. Genuinely appreciate it. Do you know of any 100% ways of making bed logging working? If you stay away from the main landing zones when you log out in a bed, it typically works more. Not 100%. Nothing in Star Citizen is 100% working. Do you believe, as I do, that the Connie will be receiving a rework of the interior? I do think... Okay, there's certainly a possibility that the Constellations... and this is the reason, potentially, that the Taurus is taking a long time to get out. The Constellations could be getting a light internal rework, but something quite light. And potentially removing the struts in the cockpit, I think, is quite possible. But that's a possibility, that's a rumour. I think it's a viable rumour, but it's still a rumour. About a year ago, they said the Carrack team would move on to the Vanilla Merchantman after the Carrack. Did that happen or change? I think they're going to be having a look at the 600i quickly, again, just to do some tweaks on it. And then I think they're moving on to the Vanilla Merchantman, I believe. Although that can change. They can reprioritize stuff. They might go, actually, we want them to do the Polaris. Do you think they will have a Citizencon in LA at all this year? So it depends on what happens with the Corona stuff and the global sort of like situation that we're going through at the moment. It's possible that people won't want to travel still, or there might be bans on gatherings of that size. So if there is, then Citizencon will have to be done online only, or that sort of thing. CIG would do something. It just wouldn't be what they wanted. But is the Ares fighter going to drop with 3.9? I don't believe it is. I haven't heard anything to confirm that it is, for sure. I think it's more likely to be the end of this year, if at all this year. Thank you for your kind time and for answering so many questions, bud. No worries. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to get connected with the community, have a chat with people for a bit, sort of like understand what's going on. It also helps me to remain sane, especially currently where I can't really leave the house. Not that I'd leave the house much anyway. I've got some issues with my dad's gone a bit peculiar. He's gone a bit mad. It's the only way I can describe it, unfortunately. It's not the best way of describing it, but he's like either super depressed or had a very, very low level stroke or something. We're worried about him. Love him and my mother very much. I want to be there to help him, but it's very difficult at the moment, especially with the worries with typically I just go to the doctor. But at the moment, they don't want to go to the doctor because they're staying in the house, and the doctor's quite dangerous for them because my dad's recovering from cancer, and it's pretty rough, and from lung cancer as well. So he's in a pretty rough state. Illy, thank you very much, Josh Davis. Love your face. Hope you're alright, mate. Appreciate it. What's for dinner? I have no idea. Probably like a jacket potato and some lean chicken with a honey and soy and a chili dressing that I'll make. Long-time follower. If I could afford Patreon for you, I would. No. So, I genuinely appreciate people donating and Patreoning and becoming YouTube members and stuff. That is amazing, and that's beyond what I expect from anyone. Genuinely, thank you. But you can just, give me feedback, share videos, like, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. That helps as well. Just keep in contact with me, poke me, say hello. It's all appreciated hugely. Thank you. Belated happy birthday. Appreciate it. Best Star Citizen YouTuber. Well, also my Siri or my Google thing also thinks I am. Have you seen the Mining Spider concept art called the Sidness? Yes. So the Sidness is actually in the Squadron 42 2017. Is 2017? Vertical Slice. You saw the Sidness. I met the guy that made the Sidness and chatted to him about it before they were able to talk about the Sidness. I've seen it to some degree. I am going to dash off in a second. There's weird banging sounds coming from my house. I want to make sure everyone in my house is alive and okay. Oh. Chris Roberts can fund these nuts. Oh. I like you video. I like my video too. Oh, I see. Appreciate it. Sorry, I didn't mean to say the piss. I know he said that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, you star. Thank you. I have lost some weight. Yes, and I've been going for runs. Did at least half an hour run at the moment. I've been eating pretty healthily. Probably weigh I don't know how much I weigh at the moment. I'll scale myself later. But I appreciate it. I appreciate people going, Bored, you don't look like a fat bastard anymore. And kind regards to your dad and best wishes. Thank you very much. I would attempt to relay them to him, but he's not really in the state to understand things. He's sort of like, but he's just out of it, and he has been for over a week now, maybe 2 weeks. It's just a bit worrying. We think he's just super depressed, which is reasonable and understandable. When is Theatre's War coming out? We don't know, but it's supposed to be before the second half of this year, so we should see it within the next 3 months, at least in some form, even if it's just sort of like just for testing. Right. I'm going to see who else is streaming. Later on tonight, I will probably, assuming I can, and people are up for it, stream some Borderlands 3 or some Apex Legends or something, to get some Zin settings correct. We are going to drop into Moist Noodles channel and give Moist Noodles some love, for he is one of my favourite people. Bam. Flash. Pam. Get that raid started. But thank you so much for watching today and joining me. Thank you very so much for people chucking a load of money at me. That's very much appreciated. Do you think we will always keep the Arena Commander fighters, like the 325A and the 600? If you've got them on your account, yeah, if you've got them as part of the thingamajigs, you'll get them as part of referrals or whatever. You can obviously rent ships with rec for Arena Commander. But yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it for the. Thank you very much for the happy birthdays as well. I'm now 35 on the 25th of March, 26th of March. I forgot what day my birthday was. Very much appreciated for the love today. I will try and get an interesting video done about something within the next 24 hours. I'll have a look to see what's going on. I'm just waiting for 3.9 content really we'll have a look, see what's going on. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. You take care, guys. Appreciate it. Love you loads. Take care. Peace.